Storing your longer ropes on a rope bag is a great way to protect them and extend their lives. As you might expect, there are a number of different manufacturers and options, such as the amount of rope it can hold, the amount of space for additional items such as carabiners or a water bottle, and the type of carrying straps. This particular bag is by a company called Metolius. What I like about this bag is that it has both side handles for carrying, as well as a detachable shoulder strap. It also has easy release buckles to keep the rope securely in the bag. There are some bags which you can carry on your back like a regular backpack, which can be a great choice for rock climbers. Now when I open the bag, you'll notice that I don't actually see the rope because it's covered by this tarp. Now this bag has a small clear window which easily lets me see which rope is inside the bag without having to remove the tarp. Now to gain access to the rope, I actually need to dump it out of the bag where you'll see it's completely covered by the tarp. You'll recall from our discussion on rope maintenance that we want to protect the rope from coming in direct contact with dirt as much as possible. Without the tarp, we'd be forced to lay the rope out directly on the ground. You'll also notice that the rope is not in the nice, neat, organized coil we looked at in the maintenance and storage video. What you see here is called a flake. Now, flaking a rope just means to lay it down in a loose, stacked pattern so that when it's pulled, it won't need to be untwisted or untangled and will easily follow the desired direction of the pull. There are different types of flaking patterns. Here you see a pattern with more random loops and turns. The randomness prevents twists in just one direction from being introduced into the rope, just as we discussed in the figure 8 style coil. The stacking pattern will ensure that we'll be able to just pull the top end of the rope and lift each turn without having to worry about tangling. Let's take a look at how to create this flaking pattern. Well, I've laid out the tarp completely flat so that it'll have a nice surface for the flake. This bag has two loops, one near the bag itself and the other at the other end of the tarp. I'll start by tying one end of the rope to one of the loops using a simple overhand knot. It doesn't matter which end I choose, but the first end will be the bottom end of the rope. Now I always recommend choosing the same loop for the bottom each time so that you know when you open the bag, you'll know which the top end is. It's the top end that you'll pull when you open the bag and access the rope. You never want to pull from the bottom end. I'm going to choose to tie this on the loop next to the bag because the other end is red. And that's an easy marker for me when I open up the bag to grab the rope. I'll immediately look for the red loop and know that's the end I'm going to pull. I'll start by feeding the rope through both hands like this. As I lay down the rope, I want to avoid repeating too many coils in the same direction. While the rope is moving through your hands, it's a good time to remove any kinks or twists and feel for any excessive wearing, abrasions, or tears, which might make you consider repurposing or even retiring the rope altogether. Rope longevity can vary greatly depending on how the rope is made, used, and maintained. For special purpose applications like climbing, always refer to the manufacturer's recommendations. You can also put the rope through a carabiner, which will help guide it from the pile that you're pulling from. I just have it connected into my belt loop. Normally I wouldn't recommend standing on the tarp as I am because there's dirt on my shoes, but I'm a little pressed for space here in the studio. But normally out in the wild I would try to avoid that. Now that I'm down to the remaining end, I'll tie it off on the other loop using another overhand knot. Remember, this will be my top end, which I'll always untie first when I start to pull a rope from the bag. Now, if I've done a good job, each pull of the rope will be easily lifted off the pile. And finally, I'm going to fold the tarp around the rope, starting with the sides. Then just roll it up. And stuff it into the bag. I like to keep my carabiners on the outside of the bag so that they're easy to find. But your bag may have separate storage pockets. Now, transporting your ropes in this type of flake may not be appropriate in all cases. For example, if you intend to remove the rope from the bag and carry it, the flake will make it almost impossible. In that case, use a coil like the one we've looked at in this course and just use the bag to keep your ropes protected from dirt and the elements.